Welcome and thank you for watching. In this video, I will review 3 grouping considerations to take into account when structuring your online courses. There are 3 topics we'll cover: grouping decisions for content delivery, message boards, and check-in meetings. Before we begin, let's talk about setting up your groups. You can make the group sizes fit your course content. Some courses may need different group sizes than others. Choose something that works best for your class. Let's say I have a class of 30. I'm going to make 6 groups, so I have 5 students per group. To build a group identity, choose a group name and mascot or image. This can be created by the groups themselves or by you. As you can see here, my groups are based on Greek mythology, and each group has a color associated with it. This helps me keep everything group-related, color-coordinated, and also is easier for the students to navigate and obtain their content. In terms of content delivery, when teaching online courses, you deliver content in a very different way in online spaces when compared to face-to-face classes. If your class is synchronous or semi-synchronous, one tip is to set up your weekly classes like centers rather than deliver all of your content to the entire class. You don't need to be present to deliver all of your content, and you can use interactive videos as a method of content delivery. For more on interactive videos, check out my video on creating interactive videos. You can then meet with small groups for a more individualized experience. This will increase engagement and give your students more opportunities to respond. In my example, a group of 10 students will have more opportunities to respond than a group of 30. The smaller the group size, the more opportunities to respond. And as you know, it's better for student learning to have more opportunities to respond. Let's take a look at an example schedule for a 3-hour class. In this example, the class is split into 3 centers. 2 groups of students will watch an interactive video, while 2 groups meet with the instructor for small group instruction. Lastly, the other 2 groups will work on activities or tasks with their group. In this example, the 5 students in Apollo will work on a task together, and the 5 students on Artemis separately will work on a task together. You can see that during the second hour of class, the groups switch to a different center. And again, during the last hour, the groups switch a final time. The time allotted in grouping can vary based on the needs of your course. For example, I have 6 centers that each last 30 minutes in this example. This tip has implications for both face-to-face classes and online classes, but there's some simple things we can do to alter the way students engage with message boards. Consider limiting the size of your message board to 10 students or less. If you have a class of 40, the message board can seem overwhelming with all of the different posts. Imagine if you were the 40th person to post. It's definitely less overwhelming if you limit to 10 or less. So instead of scrolling through 40 posts or 30 posts, maybe they only have to scroll through 10. If your message boards are smaller, it can be easier to build a community of learners with your students. This has even greater implications if you choose to have students engage with their peers in their groups that they work with in class in the message boards as well. It also helps with equity in responses, and it's more likely that every post is going to be seen and posts won't be overlooked. In online courses, it's important to check in with students regularly. Here are some tips for scheduling check-in meetings. Consider first scheduling small group meetings. Then you can have follow-up meetings as necessary. It's more efficient to address concerns this way, and it also saves you more time, because if you're meeting with a larger group first, you may not necessarily need to meet with students individually as frequently. In your group meetings, you can also provide prompts. So for example, you can have the group meet in a virtual classroom and talk about the following prompts for 5 to 10 minutes. So maybe they're going to talk about what's going well, and maybe they're going to talk about any changes that they might feel need to happen to help them be more successful. They can keep track of these things on a separate shared document, and then once they've met, you can meet with them and discuss the items they've generated. Based on your class and their needs, you can conduct this activity at the midpoint of the course or every 2 weeks. It also gives you an opportunity to find out what you're doing that's going well before waiting to the very end of the course when there's nothing you can do about it to help the students that you currently have. And when it comes to them deciding what changes they need to make to help them succeed, it gives you a great opportunity to reflect and see small changes that you can easily make to help them, or you can give them information on why you've set up things the way you have in terms of effective pedagogy. So they might ask for a change. So, for example, let's say you have a video message board and they say, we'd rather just do a text message board. It gives you the opportunity to address that and say, well, here's why we do a video message board, and here's why pedagogically this is going to be more effective for our class. So, it really gives you that opportunity to explain why you've made some of those choices, and it's better to do that up front and by having that conversation than waiting to the end of the course and then finding out all of these things in the course evaluation. Now, in my particular courses when I teach online, I like to do this particular activity 2 weeks in, so after they've had a chance to get settled, and then at the midpoint. But you could really do it whenever you see fit. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.